Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Totally Stumped podcast. We are here with episode 2. That's right. We did not quit after the first episode. An absolutely insane start from the men themselves, Stumpy and Wise. Welcome back, everyone. We got a lot of awesome topics to talk about today, and I'm looking forward to getting into them with my good friend Stumpy, as always. How you doing, Stumpy?
I'm not too bad. Struggling on, as they say. People be devastated that we're back again.
You've got a big day coming up as well, haven't you?
I have. Today is the final day of my charity month.
Yo.
So on the channel, we've been raising money for great charity, Marie Curie, and we've actually done unbelievable up until now. We've got £400 raised, and today is the big spectacular end to it. It will be 12 hours. Well, it's on paper it's 12 hours.
Ooh.
Every fiver donated, though, could extend that by 15 minutes each, so I might be here for a long time, or I might be at my desk for a while.
It's not going to be 12 hours.
Community. But
yeah, no, you've got an insane community. Very, very cool people.
Yeah, they've absolutely smashed it. Like 400 quid in 1 month is nuts. Like, that could make such a difference to anybody. So it could, so hopefully it'll go up a little bit even before the end, and we can donate that, and the charity will be happy about it.
How's it been doing a charity month then, Stumpy? Like, I've seen charity streams before, or like, you know, maybe some extended charity streams, but a whole charity month, that's a big commitment. You've done a great job, and like props to your community and like everyone involved, really. Like, how's it been? How's the experience been?
It's been really good. I think the idea sort of stemmed from, I obviously hit 500 followers, and I'd seen other people hit big milestones and do subathons and stuff, and I thought, it's not really what I want to do, hit this big milestone and then immediately ask my community for money. So then I said, I'd rather if I'm going to ask for money, I'd rather give it to a good cause than give it to myself. So I thought, right, we could do a month of charity, and what's actually come out of it now, the community, a few members have reached out to me and said, are you going to do this every year? Which I'm thinking I might, maybe every August, do a charity month, because this month has been absolutely class, but we've done different things throughout it. We've had different goals to hit. So there was one where they made me drop every pallet at the start of the game the game, which has more pallets than any other map in DBD. There's been blindfolded matches, there's been deafened matches, there's been different games that I've had to play along the way. There will be a completely mute stream coming up soon, where I'm not allowed to speak at all. So that'll be interesting. And
looking forward to that one.
Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of goals that the lads have hit, and it's been unbelievable. They even hit the goal, I think it was £300, where they got to pick my next P100, and that is why Onryo is getting leveled up like crazy at the minute. So it's been a really fun time with my community, and it's really... But yeah, it's been a really great month of just seeing how amazing my community is, and how much they're willing to support me and support a great cause. So it's been absolutely class.
Yeah, no, from what I've seen, I've obviously not been there for every single stream, but I've been there for a lot of them, and the support has been crazy. And it's been such a fun time. It's felt great. It really feels like a real sort of community, you know. Some things on Twitch, it feels like it's just you know, maybe a few viewers or a few random people, but there's a sense of community there, and it's really nice to be a part of. So props to you and everyone in the community for making it such a nice and welcoming place.
Yeah, I think one of the ones that shocked me the most, or one of the moments throughout the month that shocked me the most, was obviously I started off, and my sort of goal was, right, if we can raise £100 for this charity, that'll be great and it'll be amazing. And we hit that in a stream, and I didn't have goals for after 100, because I thought, oh, it'll take a while to hit 100, you know, it will not get there. Yeah. And we hit 250 that stream, I believe, with no goals for the community to hit. They just went, right, fuck it, we're going to pump money into this. And that was amazing, because I was sitting there going, lads, I don't have any goals for you, I'm sorry. And they were going, nah, we're going to donate anyway. And that was a real great moment for the community, where I was going, holy shit, these guys are the best, you know?
Yeah, I think your community is great. Other than that Toadar guy, that guy sucks. But everyone else is just absolutely incredible. So I love those guys. They're great.
Oh yeah, shout out to my mods as well. They've been on it this month where
Except
they've
Toad.
been there and they've been anytime someone news in, they've been popping that there's like a link to the charity to say what it does. They've been explaining what we're doing, why we're doing it. During my skull merchant streak, they were explaining
Ooh.
why I was being such a dick. So it was
Well, you see, it's just Stumpy.
yeah, it was great. So it was. So shout
Yeah.
out to those guys especially.
Huge shout out to those guys.
But yeah, on top of that, then it's been a big month for DBD. We've got Dracula, who a lot of people are huge fans of. I wouldn't have watched or seen any Castlevania content. To be honest, I don't know if it's a game or a show. I've heard both, but I'm just happy to have a new killer in the game. What have you thought of him? Have you come up against him much? Have you played against him, or have you played with him
Well,
much?
I've played a whole 0 games with or against Dracula, so in my expert opinion, he is indeed a killer in Dead by Daylight. Well, from what I've seen, the thing is, right? I would have played this guy, but like, unfortunately, I tried to make like a purchase in Google Play, and it kept failing. And me being the smart guy I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep trying to do this. I think I had like an old phone number or something, and I kept trying to like change it with like the forgot password sort of thing. And I just ended up like locking myself out, and now my card doesn't like Google Play or Steam anymore. So I have to fix it. So I can't
That's
buy
not
the
great.
chapter. It still works with like Amazon and everything though, and everything else. It just doesn't like those two. So for some reason I just can't get the new DLC. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to wait like a week or something until that's resolved. But you know, and then I'll play the new killer. But it looks like a really, really, really cool a new killer, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
I think they've done him very well. Like even the small things such as there's a castle in each original map whenever you load in, so you know it's Dracula, and it's just a cool sort of setting. They've removed the fog or parts of the fog from the sky so that you can see the castle more clearly and things like that. Just little details that they've done very well with them. But even his Mori is absolutely class, where he sort of slices you and then pulls out a wine glass to drink your blood is just very, very cool way of doing it. So it is.
I think he looks like a really cool killer. I'm looking forward to trying him for sure. Do you think he's strong, or do you think like I mean most people's initial reactions when new kill comes out is, "Oh my god, this guy is so overpowered. Please nerf them." But what do you reckon? You reckon like they're good, they're decent? Like what do you reckon?
I've seen a lot of that already. I'd been in a few different Dead by Daylight groups, and I'd seen maybe 2 hours after he came out. Oh my god, Dracula's so strong. Hopefully, behavior nerf him. And you're sitting there going, it's not been a big amount of time. You probably should wait a bit longer to see what he's like.
They always do this. When Onryo came out and they're like a really bad, like a weak state, like originally everyone was like, oh my god, this is an A tier killer, guys. This is like a really, really good killer. This is like a strong B tier or A tier killer. A Dredge comes out, oh my god, Dredge is A tier, guys. Dredge is really, really good. And then like 6 months later, everyone's like, yeah, so these are the worst killers in the game. Like, I swear it happens every time. It's like nobody learns. Like, because it's new, people think it's so much more difficult and like strong, and then they realize after a bit of time, like, oh shit, this is not actually that good. So
I think we'll not figure out the exact strength of him until people put the time in. It's sort of like Vecna. Yeah. A lot of people don't think he's that good because they've not put the time in to learn the fact that he has 4 different powers and what is the best time to use each one. Dracula is similar with his 3 different options, and at the minute a lot of people are feeling it out and trying to figure out, right, when do I use the bats, when do I use the wolf, and when do I use him himself.
Yeah.
And it'll be when someone really cracks that, starts coming up with these new techs that always come into the game, that's when you'll really find out, right, where is his skill ceiling at and how good is he actually.
I don't think Vecna is a very good killer. I think Vecna is quite weak, but I do think Dracula will be decent actually. I do think he'll be quite a strong killer, but that would be my guess. Not like insane, but I think like a decent B plus tier might be about right. But I would have Vecna in C, honestly. I think Vecna is not good at all. That's my opinion.
That's fair. We haven't seen a real great Vecna emerge from the shadows yet, so maybe one of the listeners, it could be you if you put the time in.
I like him. I like playing him still, but like the problem is Vecna's best ability in Chase for me is like the pallet blocker, right? But
Mhm.
this is just the worst version of Doctor's ability. Like it's just a version that affects pallets and not like vaults. And sure, you can pick pallets up, which can be like relatively useful sometimes, but like it's I'd rather block vaults and pallets than just have the ability to pick up a pallet every now and then. The
Mhm.
skulls just need you to crouch unless you're on like a slightly different elevation.
Mhm.
So that's just it's just not very strong. It's more of a zoning tool to like force them to crouch and get an M1. It's not that good. The fly is decent, but like again, it's only decent mobility. There's so many other killers with way better mobility if you're looking for that. And then the
Yeah.
orb is like just to counter something that no other killer has to deal with. It doesn't help you. It just helps nullify a counter to you. So like
True.
I feel like this killer is like really really bad, but people don't think. I think that's unpopular, but I think it's a bad killer. Like
I think
he's
something that I do against them, and I think a lot of people are in the same boat, is knowing that the pallet, the big hand power, is his best one. The
yeah
first thing you do is go to chest until you get the counter to it, and once you've got the counter to it, medium and small vaults, he's or not vaults, medium and small loops, he's not going to catch you because you get that little speed boost and you make it back to the pallet by the time the hand's away, and then you can throw it on him, and he's got to wait however many seconds it is to get that power back up again, and he's
yeah.
just
Well,
then
that's
he's
the
in
other
struggle
thing.
town. Like.
That's the other thing. That's his best ability, and he has to go on cooldown for like 7,000 years after he's used it. Meanwhile, Doctor has like a better ability that he can just spam anytime he likes, and has slowdown and has information. And Doctor's not as like that
True.
strong a killer. So like Vecna is like really not good in my opinion. I just think
From
people
what
struggle to like because there's so many different abilities. I think and like different items, people just get a bit overwhelmed and they think he's stronger than he is.
from what I've seen with Dracula, some of his add-ons are absolutely crazy. I was playing a game with him the other day, and I was running two add-ons. One of which, every time a generator was complete, put the fire round you, and I actually got it down because of that. I was mid chase, somebody popped a generator, and all this fire started appearing around me. The survivor, I don't think I would have caught them before they made the vault, but one of my fire pillars did hit them and downed them. And then the end game one, the one where in the gate there's just a lot of pillars of fire. I've seen people get some insane value out of it because it is just unexpected. The survivors usually you pop the gate, you run straight in, but with that you sort of got to think a bit more about shit. If I run straight in here, I could get hit with fire and be down right away. So
Yeah.
they seem very strong from what I've seen so far.
It definitely seems like a really fun add-on, that end game one for sure. I'm looking forward to trying that one myself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So then moving on to something completely not DBD related is the Premier League is back,
Oh, okay.
and we're gonna cover that. I know some of you listening mightn't be big into football, big into the sports, but we think it's reasonable to cover it. It's a big part of a lot of
I
people's
don't think it's
weekends.
reasonable. I have actually just been blackmailed on this by Stumpy. So I'm on your side, guys, but unfortunately, the evil big bad villain is winning here.
But yeah, so it's back, and it's been kind of predictable so far. There's not been any massive shocks as of
No,
yet. But
not
who
really.
would
No.
you have as your winner? Like based on transfer window closed yesterday,
Yeah,
what we've seen so far. Obviously, it's a small sample size, but who would you have as your winner coming the end of the season?
obviously Chelsea. Nah, I think like my Premier League winners. Okay, well, like I have some teams in mind. Maybe like three teams, probably three.
Mhm.
Um, there's four teams that'll challenge, but one of them will fall off in the middle of the season, I think. So the names that I'm gonna say are Manchester City, wow. Um, Arsenal, wow. Liverpool, and Tottenham Hotspur.
Now,
And
if you were to
I
put them
think
in a top four, not even just pick your winner, but a top
Mhm.
four, what way would you list them?
Liverpool will finish fourth.
Mhm.
Spurs will finish third. Arsenal second, I think, and City first. That would be my prediction.
I'd go
Um,
slightly different myself. I would
I
say
wonder what the
Chelsea
Arsenal
in
fans gonna
fourth,
say. Ooh, Chelsea in fourth.
Liverpool in third, Arsenal
Okay,
in second, and City top.
okay. I see.
I don't
I
think. I
see.
think Arsenal had one thing they had to do to try and bridge that gap, and that was sign a striker, and they didn't do it. I just
Yeah,
think City walk this league again.
Uh,
Especially with in the past seasons where Arsenal have been close, they've been out of cup competitions quite quickly. And I think there'll be a big push for them to try and win some sort of silverware this year. And that'll take away from the Premier League slightly, and City will walk away with it again.
okay, yeah, I think that might happen. I think it will be close this time. I don't think it'll be a walkover though. The way I see it going, I think Liverpool, all those four I said will challenge to begin with, but Liverpool will fall off in the middle of the season. They'll start to slow down. They'll lose a few games here and there, and they'll be out of the race, in my opinion. And I think it'll be close between Spurs, Arsenal, and City. I think all three of these teams are going to do really well. I think Spurs will surprise some people. I think that I wouldn't be shocked if like Son or someone like that finished top scorer this year and put in like a stellar like season, and maybe some performances from Bentancur and Bissouma in midfield could surprise people as well. I think Spurs could be a very, very surprise package and compete for the league, but they will ultimately fall short, maybe 5 or 6 points or something like that. And I think Arsenal and City will be completely neck and neck. Maybe a couple points decide it, a couple draws where maybe a controversial decision or whatnot has went one way and changed things. I think that's what it'll come down to, those sort of fine margins. But I would predict that City will be top. Spurs will surprise people. Arsenal will have a bit of heartbreak and fall just short of the league. And Liverpool will look good to begin with, but will start to drop a few points and just about get fourth place.
And was that you tipping Son to be top scorer in the middle of all that?
Yeah.
You think he beats Haaland's numbers?
I think he might.
See, I think there's just no looking past Haaland at the minute. He's got the probably the best players in the league setting him up.
Yeah,
putting the ball into him, and he's just
Haaland's
a great finisher.
I think he's due. I think Haaland might be out injured for a while. I don't know. He's stayed healthy for too long. This guy gets injured a lot. I'm starting to think that like that might happen, or he might need a rest or something like this. I feel like something's gonna happen to make Haaland not be top scorer. I don't think that's gonna happen again.
If Son does manage to win that top score, do you think he gets Player of the Year, or do you have another pick that you think somebody will just shine this year?
I think even if he deserved to be Player of the Year, he wouldn't get voted it. I feel like Player of the Year's popularity contest, and Son is really popular, but like it's not just popularity amongst fans, it's popularity amongst like, you know, the people who make these sort of decisions, and I don't think they're gonna vote Son in charge. I feel like he's underappreciated a lot of the time. And I think even if he was top scorer, like he was top scorer a while ago in the Prem, right? And he wasn't Player of the Year then either. And I don't remember who won that year. Maybe someone else did deserve it, but I don't think Son will win regardless. I think he would win it if Spurs won the league and got top scorer. But if I had to tip like a Player of the Year, I'm maybe gonna say, honestly, maybe it's kind of difficult. So you got City. It'll be a City, Spurs, or Arsenal player based on my predictions, I would say, unless Cole Palmer goes like insane again and gets like, you know, which he might. To be fair, I mean he's already looking good again. I feel like I would maybe throw a shout of. It's really boring, but I'm gonna say maybe a Foden again, or a Saka, or someone like this. But I think we'll see.
I think for myself, I'll go with Cole Palmer, because he does look very good again. He's just picking up where he left off last season, and as much as I think Chelsea's season will be up and down, they're very unpredictable in that way. I think the times that they are up will be Cole Palmer heavily involved, as we've seen the other day. Madueke got a hat-trick, but it was the Cole Palmer show. He got the 3 assists, got a goal himself. He was just unbelievable, and if he can keep that up all season, I don't think you can look past him. Like,
I just
for the Player of the Year.
I don't feel comfortable like saying a Player of the Year that's only had like one good season though. That's the thing. Like, if he does it again and we have this total like next year, then yeah, maybe I'll say Cole. But like, I still can't be 100% sure if he's gonna continue to deliver yet. I think he will, but like, I will never really call Player of the Year on someone if I've only had a year to see.
That's fair enough. And then in terms of relegations, who do you think this time next year will not be in the Premier League?
Okay. I've kind of flip-flopped a lot around here. So I can go for a few names and then try and figure out exactly what I think. So obviously Southampton, Ipswich, I think are in danger. Leicester, I don't think are in as much danger. I think they have like the people's backing as well. Like all of the Leicester fans want Leicester to stay up, obviously, but I think most people outside of Leicester are also kind of rooting for Leicester. I think they have a lot of support behind them as well, and I think they're aware of that. They have a lot of good players. So I don't know, and a lot of players that played in the Prem previously. So I don't think they're in as much danger, but they're still there. I think Nottingham Forest could be in a bit of danger. I would say that that's probably. Am I forgetting anyone? Those are probably the teams that come to mind. I mean, Everton might be in trouble as well with the way they started the season. But they have Sean Dyche, and he's quite good with those sort of situations. So I don't know. He's like the modern day Allardyce now with that sort of thing. So
It's just whether they keep him till the end of the season or not is the big question.
Nah, if you're in a relegation fight and you're sacking Sean Dyche, that's a mistake. You gotta keep him. Who's better to bring in for a relegation fight than him right now?
Yeah.
But like I would say I would tip Southampton, Ipswich, and Nottingham Forest right now to go down.
I think I wouldn't be too dissimilar to you, where I do have Ipswich and Southampton. I think I like Southampton as a team. I just don't think that they're gonna stay up. I think they haven't strengthened too much since coming up from the Championship, and I just couldn't see them getting the results against the teams they need to stay up.
Yeah.
And then Ipswich have decided to sign 5 Irish players.
Oh God.
As any Irish person will tell you, we don't have a great faith in our national team at the minute, so I'm not sure that's the best decision from them. Obviously, Schmodix is unbelievable, but I think they've bought him as a sort of next year when we're back in the Championship, he'll be class. That I think they're sort of building for the future with getting him in, similar with some of the other players they've got. They're kind of looking at beyond this season of, right, we'll ride out our year in the Premier League, and then next year we'll look to push again to get back up. You know, maybe it's probably the best way of doing things, whereas if you're building a good enough squad to get you back into the Premier League, eventually you'll have the squad to keep you there.
Yeah.
And then I think Everton. I think Everton have been riding their luck for a lot of years now, and it's time to go, as your man on national TV said. It's they have been teetering on that edge for so long, and with their start to this season and just the way they've been going the past few seasons, I think this could be the year where they take their place in the Premier League for granted and think, oh, we always managed to stay up. And then very quickly they'll find themselves deep in that relegation battle and going, oh shit, this is too much to recover from.
Yeah, maybe you do make a good point. And Forest do have some star players that are really good that might make the difference, whereas Everton don't have that many star players, I'd say. Like, there's not many players you'd take from Everton you'd put in most Premier League sides, I don't think. But whereas, like, I think like Morgan Gibbs-White gets in a lot of sides for Nottingham Forest. I think Alanga's pretty good and would get in a lot of teams as well. So there is that Awon, I can't say his name, but you know, the Awoni guy. He's quite good too. So like these are some players that are definitely way above like relegation battle team quality. But I don't know, I still feel like there could be a tough one ahead for Nottingham Forest, but maybe Everton might be in a worse spot. I don't know. We'll have to see. I need more time to see that.
Yeah, time will tell. Sure. If there was one team you were to pick as your surprise package, a team you think are going to massively outperform their expectations, who are you saying?
I already kind of called Spurs. I think Spurs are the team to watch this year. I think they will surprise a lot of people, and I think they'll be really, really, really good to see. So my money would be on Spurs to surprise people. I think Newcastle will be slightly better than people think as well. They will come back and be a pretty good side. Crystal Palace might outperform expectations for some people too, I would say. Those are like 3 teams to me that are probably going to surprise a few people, I'd to say.
I think a team for me that definitely, based on their first few fixtures, look very good, and who throughout the summer have went quietly about their business, but strengthened in the areas that they needed to maybe challenge for Europe. I'm not saying Champions League, but
Hmm.
more Conference League, Europa League, is Brighton. Brighton always seem to solidly replace the big players that they sell. So if they're selling a player to, like, for the likes of Trossard last year, or was it 2 years ago, to Arsenal, they
Hmm.
immediately replaced him with someone that not a lot of people had heard of, but played very well. They've managed to replace their wing backs whenever they've sold good ones and got them in. They've managed to strengthen their midfield with experience as well as youth. They've got Evan Ferguson, who is, of course, going to be the greatest striker of all time because he's Irish.
Yeah.
And I just think they have a lot. They'll have a good season. I think they have, as you say about Killers and DBD, they have a high skill ceiling. And they definitely, if they hit it, they could have a really good season and maybe find themselves in Europe next year again.
Yeah, Brighton have looked really, really, really good this season. Definitely. That's why Lewis Dunk is in my FPL now. But yeah, I think like Brighton will definitely be very, very good. I'm not too surprised at how they started, but they have been a little bit better than I would have expected. It's particularly defensively. I thought they might be a little bit weaker defensively than they've looked. They've actually looked really, really solid.
Mhm.
Both defensively and going forward, and I figured that they would look good going forward and control the game, but I thought they'd be a few openings in defense, and maybe we'll see that later on, but it's actually been really, really, really solid so far in both aspects for them, so it's been really impressive.
Mhm. Then something else, again, going to an entirely new topic. Uh, Schools are back this week, so given the listeners a bit of an insight to our own selves, what would be your favorite memory from way back when you were in school? Because you're fucking ancient now.
Yeah, no, I'm actually going for a relatively recent one towards the end of my time in school. Which was it's always really funny. I've spoke about this on my stream a few times. So when I did exams, it was like during COVID, so they were under like different conditions to normal. So instead of getting like a completely new exam, we had to do like an old exam paper. Um, and we were told this beforehand. And so me knowing that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna revise an old exam paper just so that like I can look back at what I know well and what I don't know well, so that I might be better for the exam in the future. So the night before
Mm-hmm.
the exam, I revised like a random online exam paper and I answered all the questions, and then I looked at all of the answers afterwards to see where I got wrong, what I got wrong, and what I got right, where I could
Yep.
improve. And then when I went to school the next day, I got given the exact exam paper that I revised. And so I knew every answer on the exam and I was finished like instantly because like I was done like an hour and a bit before everyone else because I had just known like I'd already checked the answers the night before and like knew everything. I had no idea this was the exam I was getting. I just happened to get given it. So I walk out after and I'm done and I'm like I go straight to like the teacher of the subject and I'm like, you'll never guess what just happened. It was so funny. It was the nicest exam I've ever had to do. So that's probably my favorite memory of school. That was really funny. I always find that one hilarious.
I actually have a similar story to that. It's not the story I was gonna tell, but we did sort of GCSE maths,
Hmm.
and remember, I think it was the day before the exam, big exam. Everyone's very worried about it. You know, it was the fifth year exam, so it was the big one. Like, you get your actual grade
Yeah.
off the back of this, and we were going through past papers for like the last 2 weeks before the exam. You know, we'd done all the studying and stuff like that, and our teacher, he just wanted us to do past papers. You know, get into the exam mindset. And this massive, I think it was like a 12 marker, came up at the end of this specific past paper exam, and he says, "You're never going to get this in the exam. They don't usually do something like this." You know, it was a question about how many tennis balls you can fit in a tennis ball tube, and you had to do all these different equations and stuff to figure it out. And he said to us, "You're not going to get this in the exam, but let's cover the answer anyway." The exact same question was at the end of our actual exam. The exact wording, the exact dimensions. That question was sitting there, and every one of us went into into him after and just sort of said, yeah, that exact question you said never comes up in the exams. That was our final question. And it was an easy 12 marker for everybody who had been paying attention in this class.
Nice.
So it was a good one. But other than that, I think my best memory was I did A-level art.
Yeah.
And obviously you have a lot of like free periods and stuff when it comes to A-level. And a lot of the time you were working on your stuff in there, and just the vibes of the art room. You'd play different games and stuff just to pass the time in there, while obviously trying to get as much work done as you can. I just, those memories were my favorite. You could be doing stuff where like, it was days the teachers weren't about, it was just sort of, you were given the keys to the art section. Away and you go, don't fuck about. Like, nobody's going to come and check on you, but don't mess the place up. So there was days where we mess about. We invented a game called Chairs versus Legs, where it was kind of like tag, but the ones tagging you are on chairs and the ones running are on legs, but the sort of desks and stuff, the way they were placed around the classroom, made for a great kind of obstacle course for that kind of made it fair for the people in the chairs, because we made it so you couldn't jump over tables or anything. It was kind of a maze of desks and chairs that you had to get through for the guy on the chair to catch you, and it was just an absolute fucking about session. But you found like those little mess about periods in between the actual work really help de-stress you, especially in exam time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Fun times.
Mm-hmm. The one thing school does set you up for is like, they teach you make goals and always look ahead and plan, and it helps with every aspect of life. So in that sort of vibe, do you have any streamer goals that you might have made at the start of the year, that you might have made now, that you want to hit by the end of the year, that you want to hit in the near future, or just like an overall goal for streaming?
When I was like thinking of coming back to stream in like I came back on like the 11th of March. I remember the exact date just because it was a significant day for me, for other reasons. But it's I did make some goals before then, and they definitely, I don't think they were too realistic looking back at them. I don't think exactly on track for them, but I had like my final goal for like the end of the year was like 800 followers, so we'll see. I mean, I guess maybe I could get there. I'm like 473 at the moment, but I don't expect to get there. To be honest, I'm not that focused around goals and streaming. I'm kind of just more kind of just trying to have fun, and enjoy it. Because like I don't think realistically I'm gonna like be a big streamer or anything like that. I'm just there for a good time, and hopefully I can make other people have a good time as well. So that's my main goal with streaming, and pretty much everything I do on stream is like things I'd do anyway. Obviously there's exceptions. Like I will be doing a subathon soon, and the goals on there are definitely not things I would normally do. Like I would definitely not go out my way to do some of the stuff on there. There's some interesting things, but for the most part, everything is what I do normally, and I just want to spread some joy with the people in my community. So that's my kind of goal, really.
Ah, cool. I think, especially when I started, firstly, it was to get comfortable with streaming was a big goal of mine, where like the first few times I hit that go live button, I was shiting myself. It kind of reminded me of like YouTube. Obviously posting my first few shorts I posted originally on YouTube was nerve-wracking, and a big moment for me was posting the first one with my voice in it. Yeah. Because I obviously was very worried about my voice. I've got the thick accent. It's, I didn't know what way people would take to it and stuff like that. And then similarly with streaming, I was like, right, videos, you can kind of make a persona in your videos and you can act certain ways, but streaming is just you. And it's like people vibe with your sort of personality and stuff more in streaming, and you get to be yourself a lot more. And that was like a sort of a stressful time when I started off. I was like, oh god, I don't know how people are going to take to me, how people are going to take to hearing the accent for 5-6 hours at a time. And then that was kind of my goal, was just to become comfortable hitting that go live button. And since then it's sort of turned into, right, I want to be more structured, I want to be more planned when I'm hitting that button. I'm not just starting and going, okay, today I'm gonna play some DBD and see where it goes. It's more now, right? We have this challenge, that challenge. I want to reach out to other streamers, get them involved, kind of just grow a good community. And I feel like so far my community is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I can't fault them. They've been class. They've supported me the whole way through this sort of Twitch journey. And if I can keep like growing, but keeping as good a community as I have, and like the great members of my community, if I can keep adding members that are absolute legends like we already have, then I think that's my overall goal. Is like, we'll grow at whatever pace, and obviously I don't expect to ever be massive, but if I have like a community of people, like people watching you play games, no matter how many people are watching, is amazing. Like, they're taking time out of their day to watch you play a video game. It's nuts already, but I just think if I can keep a good community, you know, and they can stay as just amazing as they are now,
Yeah.
I'd be happy enough.
Except that Toad guy. That Toad guy needs to change.
You're really taking into Toad today, aren't you?
Sorry, Toad. Sorry, Toad.
See, you can't take into Bleachy because Bleachy bought him as VIP.
No, Bleachy's the goat. We love Bleachy here. Bleachy best mod, for real.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah,
like I
Toad
said-
and Bleachy, like, especially out of my mods, have been absolutely nuts. Toad has something like 30 firsts in my
Oh.
streams, and then Bleachy has banned more people out of my stream than I've ever seen. Those bots that try and
Nice.
offer viewers have no chance when Bleachy's around. She is quick on it, just bang, go on, get out of
Damn.
here.
Maybe I need to appoint Bleachy as a mod. I'll try and pay them.
Oh,
Join
you think you
me.
won't get the best viewers? Come on.
I've already got the
Oh.
best viewers. What the hell? I don't. It's false advertising. I swear. You know, I've got my general like quippy line I always come up with, and it's like, buy cheap viewers. I'm like, no, my viewers are valuable. It's true though. It's true.
Whereas I'm going, where are they? And then Bleachy bans them, and I never find out.
You want them? You're like, yeah, give me those.
Yeah, where are those viewers again? No, he's gone.
Damn, they're lucky.
But yeah, then, right, let's move on to movies. Last week, obviously, we covered Saw, and we're kind of similarly covering a series this week, Scream, which you are very passionate about, or you've watched them all. You'd know a lot more about them than me, so I'll let you take over as far as this is concerned.
Well, you see, you're talking to someone who has like the worst memory in the world, so I'm probably gonna like misrecall everything about Scream. But no, I really like the Scream movies. I'm a huge fan of them, and I started in a weird order. I like watched them relatively recently because, again, like Scream 5 was like the first horror that got me into horrors. I'd seen the odd few horror movies here and there before, but like I watched Scream 5 and then I started watching a bunch of horrors. And I watched Scream 5, then Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6 when it came out. And yeah, Scream for me is like, it has a special place in my heart because it's like the first like real like horror that got me into horror. So, and I don't think it's traditional either. It's not like scary necessarily. It Scream's more interesting because it's got horror elements, but it's like a lot of working out to do, you know, figuring out who the two killers are. There's some funny moments in there as well. There's a nice blend of like humor, mystery, horror, anticipation going on, and you're always thinking about like what could be the next thing that happens. It's really really interesting like that. And Scream also like said a lot of like I mean, it kind of incorporated like a lot of the horror tropes, and it was quite funny to see and look back at. Plus, like the voice changer is so iconic. That's something Scream and Saw both have. Is like the voices of the main characters is so iconic to horror, and so it's really really cool to hear that as well.
I think a thing that I really like about Scream is they know how to not take themselves too seriously. So
Yeah.
obviously they love to poke jokes at themselves, especially through the Stab series, which they have in Scream, and they usually have a Stab movie in there somewhere, and they'll finish the movie and the two characters are going, sequels are always worse, aren't they? They're terrible. And then this will obviously be the Scream sequel, or they'll say, prequels are never done right, you know, you can't beat the original, and then that'll be in the prequel one.
Yeah.
And just taking digs at themselves and getting a bit of meta commentary and just talking about the movies as in, this is not going to be good, when they're making jokes about their own movie is great, I think. It's a good part of those movies.
It is a really cool dynamic to see for sure. I do like it. I think they've done a good job with the new Screams as well, bringing in some interesting new characters too. Like for the 5 and 6, obviously they brought in a lot of a new cast. And I think like there's some really they did a good job at getting you invested in a lot of those characters. I feel like, although personally I am not a fan of the main character so much. I don't
Hmm.
really like Sam's character very much. I think it's very basic. I think Tara's character can be mixed, but like Chad is awesome and Mindy's cool. And like some of the characters they brought in as well that may not have survived, but I'm not gonna say anything. We're pretty cool.
Hmm.
So like I'm pretty happy with what they've done so far.
I think it is very with a series like Scream, it's very hard to take to the new characters when you've made the old ones so iconic. So obviously, like
Yeah.
Sidney Prescott is a icon in horror, one of the best final girls you're gonna get in any series. You've got the likes of Gail, Dewey, all just
Hmm.
perfect for their roles and add so much to the movies that the sort of newer versions or like newer people
Hmm.
they're getting to come in and maybe take over just don't hit
Yeah.
the same. But I think that's a testament to how good the casting was in the original movies.
Well, the thing is, I never had to deal with that because the fifth one was my first movie. I was
Mhm.
introduced to like the legacy characters in a smaller way, and
Yeah,
like the main characters for me were those new characters because I'd never seen the other ones. I didn't even know who Sidney Prescott was. I'd never heard of them, you know.
fair.
So like, because I was not a horror guy. Like I still played DBD then, but I didn't watch horror movies at all, so I didn't know who Sydney was or anything like that. So I came into that and saw the new cast as the main characters, and so I warmed to them a lot more because I didn't have the idea of Sydney, Dewey, Gale in my mind and Scream, and then I knew who they were afterwards. And I think they're
Yeah.
very, very cool characters. Although I'm not that much of a fan of Gale Weathers. I don't like Gale that much.
You're a big fan of her getting punched in the face then, yes?
Well, like the thing with Gale is like I don't know. She's obviously meant to be a divisive character. I think she does have cool moments, but a pet peeve of mine, like anyone who knows me quite well knows there's like one thing I absolutely despise that I just will not let go. I'm willing to forgive most things, but if someone is like a selfish person, I cannot stand them. I can never stand them. I will not talk to you if I think you're selfish. You're gone. I will
Hmm.
not. I will not accept that. And Gail is that sort of character. She will always put like 9 times out of 10, she'll put her, career aspirations above everyone else, or go out of her
Yeah.
way to like gain something, and that is something I really hate. So, and also she's a journalist, and I studied journalism at uni. So knowing that the journalist, is the one who's a selfish, want to make a bunch of money, only care about career sort of person,
Hmm.
it's like, oh man, that's great. Glad journalists are seen that way. It's brilliant. I'm not doing journalism anymore. I've switched, but I did do a year of it, so like, it's still like, damn, okay, I see you.
I do
So I
think
don't
that's a
like Gale.
common theme among horror movies. They do like to make the journalist out to be a
Yeah.
certain way and to be very career driven and sort of put the story above anyone else. And that's something Scream definitely did a lot with Gale.
To be fair, in my year of studying journalism, that is how you're taught to be. You are
Hmm.
supposed to be like that, which is part of the reason why I'm also not doing it.
Fair.
That is a big part. They do push you to be like, it's all about quantity over quality. You just got to push out a bunch of things and get clicks. It doesn't matter how you get those clicks, just get those clicks. Does nothing else matters, and it's who cares if you upset someone, and I don't like that. So like I'm not about that. Even in sports journalism, which is what I studied, it's like so I don't know. For me, I kind of get why that stereotype's a thing because like you are taught to be that way, but not all journalists are like that. Some of them have some respect.
Yeah.
So I would like the main depiction of journalists in movies, especially one like Scream, to not be the way that Gail Weathers is depicted. I do like how she's a cool, independent character who can like hold her own. That's cool. But I don't like how she's a selfish sort of character, and maybe deep down she cares, but like 9 times out of 10 she'll put herself first.
Yeah. I think the another thing Scream has done really well is just Ghostface himself, the mask, the sort of just the presence of him is so massive in the horror community where everybody knows Ghosty. Even
Yeah.
people who are not interested in horror movies know Ghosty. Like, that's how big a brand they've created for this one character. Like, you see those masks everywhere at Halloween.
Yeah.
You see so many things outside of the movies, the series. He got his own chapter in Dead by Daylight, which was massive. The way they teased it was brilliant. Everybody loved it. He still has probably the best finishing Mori in the game, and that's something great that they've done very well.
Yeah.
And Wise is going crazy with the fucking soundboard again. No, I think they've, like, the branding they've done for Ghostface himself is massive. Like, the fact that he's appeared in likes of Scary Movie and stuff like that is brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad to see it too, that they don't take themselves too seriously and they do get his name out there a lot more.
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. It is a very, very big brand. It's made a big impact across horror, really. It's a great series. Like, as I said, I think I said last podcast, but I'll say it again. Scream and Saw, for me, like my two favorite horror franchises ever. Very,
Mhm.
very, very great. Really, really awesome franchises. Mean a lot to me, and yeah, definitely a huge impact on the world of horror for sure.
Big time. But yeah, then I think that's pretty much everything apart from our weekly streamer recommendation. So
Oh,
this week we're going to be talking about GodofIQ, who, if you haven't seen him, if you haven't been in his chat, met his community, he is one of the nicest streamers out there, one of the best. All of his content is very interesting. So it is. I've linked up with him a few times to do different
you what?
things, killer challenges and stuff like that. So he
You're
is
supposed to link
always
up on me.
thinking he's always thinking of the next sort of challenge he could do, the next most interesting thing for his viewers, and he's definitely worth checking out. Most recently, I believe he did a 1v1 challenge where he
Ooh.
took a duo from each members of his community. I was even involved in it, and you had to escape so many matches to get the points, as well as the last match had to be no mither and object of obsession, just so that he would be spotted and the killer would try and tunnel him out, which was just a great aspect of the whole thing. Like, everything he's doing over there is brilliant, and just, he is a clown main, now I will warn you,
Oh.
and a Bill P100, so
Oh.
you know how they are. But no, honestly, one of the nicest streamers I've met in my streaming journey, and someone who definitely is going places.
Yeah, I actually played against GodofIQ like maybe about a week ago now, and that was like my first experience in being in his stream. I'd seen him around a little bit, and I'd seen him do challenges with you, and he'd always seemed like a cool guy. I played against him, and after the game, I came around to like see what he said, and he was like, no way, I know this guy. Yo, I've been in this guy's streams a few times. He's a crazy blight. He's scary. He's had like so many nice things to say, and he seems so wholesome. And so I came by and said hi, and he I think he might have gave me a shout out, but he dropped me a follow, and some of his community also dropped me a follow, and they all welcomed me in and like said like how well I played and stuff, which was really sweet. And everyone just seemed like really, really chill there. So I dropped a follow as well, and I've came around a few times. And GodofIQ seems like a really, really cool guy. Like, he seems like a really chill, wholesome guy who's just having fun on DBD, and you know, it seems like his community is also the same, like a really, really cool, welcoming community of chill people. So shout out to GodofIQ. He does seem like a great guy. So wish him the best luck with streaming, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of his streams.
That's something I also didn't realize, is we both met him as Blight, because I played against him as Blight, and I remember he had Chemtrap, Champion of Light. He had a real disgusting build. Mike, if you're listening, you disgusting fecker.
He had
But
no perks against me.
oh my god, I think I might have affected him in that way, where he's now trying to be no perks a lot more, because it is the best way to play. If you're not playing no perks, lads, what he's doing. But I remember he got me with the chem trap, then he blinded me as I was coming out of that pallet, and it's just watching it back and his reaction, he felt so bad about it, which was hilarious, I thought, because it was really good plays, because I was mid rush and he saw that, put a chem trap on, got me beautifully. Like,
Oh,
and the fact that he felt bad, it shows how like nice a guy he is. Like, as much as it's fucking amazing content when you get that on a blight, but he just immediately felt bad. Like, oh, I feel bad for doing this to this guy. But yeah, just one of the nicest streamers I've ever met, and just an all around great guy.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up for week 2. Similar sort of timing to the first week, so we're getting
Good
consistent.
stuff. Consistency is not something you see very often from either of us, so that's impressive.
Exactly.
I'd say.
Well, yeah, that's everything then. We will be back next week with new topics, a new horror movie that we will hopefully have finished this time.
Hell yeah, let's go.
But yeah, till next time, I suppose that's us.
All right then. Thank you guys for being here yet again for the Totally Stumped episode 2. As Stumpy said, back again next week, Sunday, same time. As always, hope to see many of you awesome people there. And until next time, we will see you in the next podcast. Goodbye, guys.